Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with instant match reaction for Chelsea 2, Newcastle United 1. Not as bad as we all thought it was going to be, but is anybody else exhausted watching this football team? I sure as hell am. I'm off on holiday next week, so you'll have Mark for the cup game, and I don't envy him if he's going to have to watch that kind of game that I saw today, just from pure frustration levels, really. Quality there at times in terms of passion and movement, but again, just no end product like previous games. But we're going to get stuck right into this in a minute. Just before we do, a little gentle reminder, as we always say, if you haven't already, smash subscribe. We'd love you to come and join us. We are 8,770 something at the minute, so we're close to the 9,000 subscriber mark, where we have the great prize of the blue retro McEwen shirt, which could be yours if you enter that competition. When we hit that line mark and we do the prize video, recommend us to family and friends, help get us there. We're only a couple of hundred away, and we are live as always, so jump in the chat, as a few of you have done already, and we'll let you know exactly what we think about the game as well. So let's get stuck in then. So this is how the teams lined up today, and a surprise obviously was no Anthony Gordon. A groin strain apparently took old Flash Gordon out of this lineup, which is a real shame, because I think with the amount of space that Chelsea left at the back today and some of the poor play defensively, I think I would probably say, from Chelsea, Anthony Gordon had a field day today. And don't get me started on number 14. I'll come to that in a minute in terms of whether you square it or whether you shoot yourself. But I do think Anthony Gordon had some real change today out of that Chelsea lineup, because they weren't great defensively, I think. A couple of moments going forward, which we'll get into in a minute. But I think defensively, they can easily be got at Chelsea. And if we were sharper today, if we had better quality in the final third, I think we could have done them. But that was the main change, really, was Miggy Almiron coming in. The rest of it was kind of, as you would expect it to be as well. And the game started, I mean, the big danger man, everyone said, in any post-match or pre-match preview show or whatever, anyone talking about this game would have told you to watch out for Cole Palmer. We don't watch out for him. He spins. He manages to stick a through ball through. There's a warning sign there straight away. I think we get the goal. He comes on, he scores the goal. It's disallowed for being offside. I think he was one-on-one with Bruno. Bruno looked like he was, again, running with the caravan on his back. That's ruled out, rightly so, for offside. But that was the warning shot there. And then about 19 minutes into the game, we had a couple of chances prior to that. Didn't really warm the keeper's hands too much. I think Alexander Isak has a couple of chances, and they're all just really tame, soft shots at the minute. There's no real power behind any of the strikes that we do. Even Harvey Barnes today, who was on the park, there's no real, people testing the keeper and putting their laces behind it, making the keeper make a save. And then Chelsea go up to the other end, and it's 19 minutes in. And again, the catch is on the break, really. So the catch is on the break, and it's a great spin from Cole Palmer, but he's not really closed down at all. He bends the ball round Tino Livramento, who looks like he's on the kind of wrong side. The ball's on his opposite shoulder. Pedro Neto gets by him. To be fair, I think Tino did all right against Neto during the game, but he done him on this particular occasion. Fabian Schär comes running across. Fucking hell. He looked like a dad playing five-a-side against a bunch of kids. Neto just skips by him, sends him for a hot dog, and then he puts it into the box. Nicholas Jackson is standing there completely unmarked. Dan Burn is running back like fucking Ace Ventura in slow motion. Like that, because he's so fucking slow. And then he just puts the ball in the back of the net. Piece of piss for Chelsea, really. And it doesn't surprise me. We lack so much pace at the back. So much pace. Everybody can see that. That's why they try to sign Mark Gahey in the summer transfer window and got the piss ripped out of them by Parish. But fuck me, they need to get a centre-half with some speed, because there's no speed back there whatsoever in the middle of the park. Tino's fast. Hall gets caught short because he's not particularly the quickest. And there's literally no pace between three of your back four. So any break like that with pace will bury you as Newcastle United or any team in the Premier League, because teams have pace. Doesn't matter whether you're Chelsea or whether you're fucking, I don't know, one of the promoted teams, Leicester. Leicester, fucking Jamie Vardy's still got a bit of pace. I wrote the bloke off, and he's still got pace. So you're thinking, here we go again, fucking game over. And then Alexander Isak manages to wriggle free. It's a great bit of play, in all fairness, on the 32nd minute mark. I thought we were going to fold over like a deck chair on Whitney Bay Seafront, but we didn't. We hung into the game. We kind of managed the game a bit better. We used the ball better. Tino tucks inside, lovely bit of play. Joe Linton, I thought was great today, but honestly, I thought he showed for everything, did Joe Linton. He gets a hold of the ball, puts it out to the left-hand side, like back to Tino, back to Barnes. Hall's making that overlap run, and there's so many times that Barnes ignores Hall and tries to get shot off, and I thought he was going to do it again. But to be fair, He picks out Lewis Hall, puts a great ball across the box, and Alexander Isak's there to kind of just gently caress it into the back of the net, is what I would say. A lot of strikers would have rushed that maybe over the bar, whatever. Isak just caresses it into the back of the net, and it's a goal, and we're all thinking, oh, get in. But that's the wonder of modern-day football, where they just kill all the passion celebrating a goal. I'd hate to be in the crowd watching a goal like that, because you're celebrating. Is it not? Is it not? Is it not? Then you go, yeah, and you celebrate again. And the players look like they can't be asked anymore, because they don't know whether a goal's going to be ruled out or not, because some little dweeb's got to look at a screen and measure lines, and see whether it's, is fucking toenails in line with his toenail or whatever. So they look at it again, and it turns out Alexander Isak is onside. So we're back in the game at 1-1. You're thinking, right, happy days, get into it. You know what I mean? We go in at half time, ones each, and then fucking hell, 2 minutes after we come back out in the second half, Alexander Isak, who had a real mixed day, in my opinion, he looked a little bit sharper. He ran a little bit quicker and harder, as he does. Isak, he gets a little bit fitter, a little bit fitter. And he just fucks around with the ball. I don't know what the fuck he was trying to do. The ball's robbed off him. It comes through to Cole Palmer, who is a fantastic player. And holy shit, the Sky Sport commentary team, you would think this bloke could skin Messi, Ronaldo, Pele, and Maradona on his own, the way they're talking about him. He's the latest flavour of the month, the wank of the week for Sky. Every time the kid plays, he's so amazing. Oh, what a player. They're bigging him up way too much. Smashing player, but it gets on your fucking nerves. But he runs straight through the middle of the park. Nobody closes him down. I don't know what the fuck Fabian Schär's doing. I'm getting sick of Fabian Schär's nonchalant defending. I really am. I'm going to get into that more, and then I'll check some of your comments. There might be some of you agreeing with me. And then Cole Palmer just shoots, and it just goes right through Pope. Nothing whatsoever stopping that happening. And it's just fucking crap, really. And the only reason we were able to kind of stick in the game and get a bit more into the game is because Chelsea didn't really step it up after they got that goal. They kind of just went into neutral, so to speak. They didn't really push hard enough. And we still had chances in the game. And then fucking hell, I can't remember what minute it was, but Alexander Isak breaks through. It's a great ball over. I don't know if it's from Fabian Schär. I think it was, actually. Fabian Schär was crap today, in my opinion. Him and Burton looked like a couple of old men, but it was a great ball from Fabian over the top. Isak gets the ball. Sanchez comes out. He knocks it round him in no man's land. And I'm thinking, this is it. It's a goal. It's equaliser. And then he drops his shoulder again. And I'm looking at Joe Linton's in the middle of the box. I'm thinking, just square it. It's a tap-in for Joe Linton. And he fucks around, so greedy, so ball greedy, and he ruins the chance. I'd have hooked the fucker off there and then for that. Disgrace. You want to talk about a new contract, Isak? Shit like that. You don't deserve a new contract. So that was probably the biggest chance, I think, of the game after that. He makes a triple substitution. Longstaff, Willock comes on. Lloyd Kelly's on. Murphy's on. It gives us Sula, 5-10 minutes at the end. And he does all right. He gets in the way of the ball and that, it kind of brings it down. But, there was no real threat, I don't think, of us getting an equaliser, despite, throwing things at the box. There's a little chip over the across from Isak after he makes that ball greedy mistake, and, Reece James heads it away from the line. But I just think Chelsea almost knew that we just didn't have enough to penetrate their goal again after that, and then we lose 2-1. And it's frustrating because there's bits of that game is decent. I think if we play like that against them in the cup and they can't be arsed, we should beat them and go through in the cup. But frustrating today. So I'm going to get into some of your comments here. I'll just try to get myself up as quick as I can here, because I've been rambling for a bit, and I'm sure you've had a few comments flying in. Let's try and get as much as we possibly can. I totally agree. There's a great one there straight away from Alex. But we've got Dan Robinson, who's been a member for 6 months. Thank you very much for your support, Dan. I really appreciate that, buddy. It wasn't great. But we went down swinging. That's right. We did go down swinging. Absolutely, mate. I do totally agree with that. Bri says, poor decision making constantly. I do agree with that. But I agree with Alex. I thought Joe Linton was the best player. Joe Linton's my man of the match, guys. Absolutely, 100%. I think he showed for the ball all of the time. I think he worked hard, he grafted, he flew into tackles, he supported Lewis Hall, who was excellent again, I thought. Lewis Hall got an 8 on SofaScore. He's the highest score player on SofaScore, but it is a little bit kind of misconstrued, I suppose. But for me, I thought Joe Linton was great today. He gave that extra support. He showed up. He really got stuck in. He grafted. Bruno was all right, but he gives the ball away too much. He tries that Hollywood pass, the eye of the needle pass too much. He fucks around with it too much. And that gets us under real pressure. And this obsession with playing from the back against teams like Chelsea who press you with pace is a real mistake. It really, really is. We look devoid of ideas. within the squad, over the touchline. Tyndall and Howe look like they haven't got a clue. The children look like they're trying to do a pub quiz. They're trying to work out the jackpot question of a pub quiz. That's what they look like. My dad liked that one because he does a pub quiz. But they look completely bereft of ideas. The two of them don't know what to do. Look on the bench. Yes, there's not enough quality there to change a game. But when they even bring on a player who has a bit of quality, it's the same tactics. There's no freshness off the bench to do something else if what you're doing isn't working. And that's really, really frustrating. And looking at some of the comments to our videos and some of the comments on social media as well, I think a lot of people are getting a little bit restless of Eddie Howe's lack of plan Bs. I really do believe that it's getting very, very concerning. Yeah, Alex, they don't work. Centre halves don't work because there's no pace. There's no pace there, and that's the problem. Davies said no pace at the back. You read my mind. Terrible decision making, nowhere near clinical enough. We look all over at spells in many games this season. We do. We look very easy to attack without that pace at the back. We've got no number 6. We've got no defensive-minded midfielders who drop 10 yards and go, do you know what, I'm going to watch him. Like Cole Palmer's a great example, right? A great player. That goal, that second goal, if you have a defensive midfielder, number 6, he goes, fuck this, I'm dropping 5 yards, 10 yards, I'm going to get in that guy's face when he shoots. We don't have a midfielder that does that, and that's how Cole Palmer gets that shot off. It's happened time after time after time, and the club won't sign a player. More frustrating and worrying. Eddie Howe doesn't think he needs a player like that. Well, go watch that and go, Eddie. You do need a fucking player like that. Stout Stagger saying, I'd be embarrassed if I was Longstaff. He should have enough integrity to quit. I must admit, Sean come on, and he was pointless. He was pointless. He's a lovely kid, and I always caveat that. He's a really nice lad. But a pass, it was a 5-yard pass on, and he couldn't make it. And I was like, really? A professional footballer can't make a 5-yard pass? Simple ball out wide to the fullback that was running on? Scary shit. Really scary shit. You're hooking Sandro Tonali off for him when he does that. Sorry, not going to work for me. Murphy the same. Murphy ran around, did fuck all as well. Is it Joey Nola? Get my glasses fixed there. A good game for the neutrals, but nearly the death of me, especially when Isak weaved through. Do you know what? Honestly, I'm so ready for my holiday. Alexander Isak has just polished me off with that chance. Honestly, that sounds really ropey. That he's finished me off with that chance, even more ropey. But what the fuck is he doing? What's going through your mind, Alex? But what annoys me, there's no captain on the pitch to bollock him. I'd bollock him. I miss the days of Roy Keane, Tony Adams bollocking him for not squaring it. He should have squared it. You know, Bruno's not that kind of captain. I love Bruno to death, but he's not that kind of captain. He doesn't bollock anybody. I'd have been screaming at Isak for what he was doing there. You know, absolutely shocking. It really, really was. I think, to be fair to Longstaff, he did shout at Murphy when he headed the ball. I don't know if you saw that chance. If anyone wants any example of why Jacob Murphy doesn't have a brain, the ball comes over to the far post, and you've got 3 players that way, right? And he heads it that way. What are you doing? Out of play. Goal kick to Chelsea. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Ian says, both Cher and Burn are old. Yeah, if there were dogs to be put down. To be fair, they look like a couple of dogs trying to have a shit in the park, looking at them a day, and they must successfully shit in the bridge, mate, is what they did. But kind of Botman getting back quick enough can't happen for me, honestly. Sven Botman reads the game way better than those two. I said this on the Toon Review chat when the lads were at half-time as well. Botman reads that game way better than those two does. He's not the quickest Botman, but it doesn't have to be because his positional sense is so good. If you stick a right-sided centre-half next to Sven Botman with pace, somebody who's quick, then that is a brilliant centre-half pairing. You will not get caught like you got caught there today. As good as Byrne and Cher have been for us at spells, and they deserve that respect, you can't just live on the past seasons that they've had. They're another year older, they're past their 30s, their bodies are starting to get to that point where things are difficult for them. Callum Wilson's another example. Things are difficult for them. I still think Trippier's got a bit of quality in those legs, even though he gets caught a little bit. But these over 30 players at the back against teams with pace, like Chelsea today, are a liability. They really, really are. But you'll never change it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Lloyd Kelly, but at least he's got a bit of speed. You know, and Nkunku couldn't get past Kelly. I had to trip him over. He was having a field day against Byrne. That one at the end, I must say, fair play to the referee. I thought he was shit most of the game, missed loads of challenges and fouls. But that one with Nkunku, when Byrne just pulled his shoulder and let go, and he threw himself to the deck, fair play to the referee for overturning that, because that was disgraceful. What he should have done is booked Nkunku as well, to be fair. Comment there from Trevor. We're 12th. We are where we deserve to be. Absolutely. The 8th position flattered us massively. We've been poor all season. We haven't played all season. We probably played against Brighton, but we couldn't finish our chances. But everybody else, we've been really, really poor. That City game, we grafted hard and dug in. and press them really hard, but we've not been great at all, Trevor. So I totally agree with you in that one, mate. Get used to the bottom half is where we'll be until people face the facts. The manager is not up for us. A lot more questions getting asked about the manager, mate. A lot more questions. I know you've asked them for a long time, Trevor. Fair play to you. Mark saying Burn was getting skinned all game. Terrible. And once again, Mark, he doesn't take him off. He doesn't sub him off. He doesn't go to Kelly and put him on. Why does he do this? Why on earth does he not act quick enough when players are getting skinned? It was the same with Burn at left back last season. How many times did he get ran past? He didn't make the change until way later in the game when we were 2 or 3 goals behind. He needs to sort his shit out anyhow and make change quicker. Burn's not going to, fall out with you, not send you a Christmas card because you're taking him off because he's getting skinned. He's a professional footballer. He'll understand it. So make a decision, Eddie. Grow a pair of balls and make a decision. Vincent's saying, are we in free fall? It's a good question. I think we might very well be, Vincent, to be fair. We finally scored an open play. Woeful subs again. That was criminal by Isaac in the 74th minute. That's what it was. Ooh, God, he gave me a little flashback of it. Cher was terrible today. Burn wasn't great. Why not play Kelly? Because he sees Kelly as a squad player, as a fill-in left back. He doesn't see him as a starting centre half. Now, all this bullshit about if you're good enough, you're getting the team. If you train well, you're getting the team. You can't tell me that Lloyd Kelly isn't showing more pace and training than Dan Burn is, or Cher is. You can't tell me Louis Miley isn't showing his passing ability and quality in training over Sean Longstaff. You can't tell me even Joe Willock isn't showing more prowess in the final third than Jacob Murphy. Despite me saying he's regressing, he's still better than Jacob Murphy. I don't understand this bullshit that he comes out with, that he picks the same old players time and time again. Mickey Almiron, to be fair to him, I was fucking mortified to see him start live 3 years on from the takeover. But Mickey worked hard in the first half. He pressed, he ran a lot. But again, there's just no quality on the ball from Mickey Almiron. That's what you get from Mickey. You don't get quality in the final third. And that's the bit that pisses me off. It really, really does. As George has hit the nail on the head, the only place we can create anything is on the left-hand side. That's because all of our talented players are on the left-hand side, George. That's basically it. And Manu says we were basically awful. Ordinary is probably right, George. I don't think we're awful. We're ordinary. We don't have the quality there. Liam says Eddie Howe has got to go. There's no plan B. I think it's coming soon, Liam. It really, really is. I mean, the reason I would say, and he backs it up again by saying if this was performances under previous managers, people would be calling for him to be out. There would be. I mean, Eddie Howe enjoys this kind of, invincibility in some fans' eyes that he can't be let go of because of the, keeping us up and then getting us fourth. And that's amazing, right? It really is, and it deserves respect. However, football managers do not live in the past achievements. They live in the present results. Claudio Ranieri, as I always say, is a prime example. He won Leicester City the fucking Premier League, and then they binned him unceremoniously when results weren't going their way and they were worried about their league position. And they brought in Brendan Rodgers and he got them back up to where they wanted to be. And then they binned Brendan Rodgers. That's what football clubs do. This weird obsession that people have got in their mind that Eddie Howe is going to be this manager here for 10 years and win us loads of trophies. We ain't winning a trophy. We ain't winning a trophy with that style of play. We ain't winning a trophy giving new contracts to a Dan Burn, a Jacob Murphy, a Sean Longstaff, a Callum Wilson. We're not winning a trophy like that. And yes, PSR and FFP are in place and strangling you. You can't go and buy loads of great players. I get that. But you can buy better players than them. I mean, even the Willis Sula thing, as much as the kid's not really getting much of a chance, fucking Liam Delap is banging them in for Ipswich in a shit team. Where were we with him in the summer? Awful scouting by the football club, or is it the manager who's telling them not to sign that player because he's seen Sula for years and he thinks he can coach him into being this great player? Eddie Howe seems to think he has this infinite amount of time with players. And I've seen people, I think it was Magpie 24/7, fair play to Kyle and that, but that was bullshit by saying, Sula needs more time. And he hasn't got the luxury of time because he is the second choice centre forward, because the second choice centre forward is perpetually injured. So Eddie doesn't have the time, and Sula doesn't have the time. He's got to make it work now. And fair play to let him come on today again, and he looked all right in terms of some of the stuff that he did. He needs a little run of games. He needs longer than 5 minutes to show he can do something. But this manager won't give him it. He wants to play Anthony Gordon through the middle, which is bizarre because it ruins Gordon's game and it makes Sula think, well, what's the point of me being here? Another comment there saying a lot of the squad are championship class. I totally agree with that. Chelsea fiddle hotels, so they bring 106 million quid cup winners off the bench. I don't think the PIF have played this as well as they could. And that might sound controversial. I don't know whether that's Amanda's fault or Murdad's fault or Darren Eales' fault, whoever's fault it is, right? But we could have been doing this kind of shit behind the scenes. We could have been doing the little caveats and little tricks and shit behind the scenes to beat the PFR and the FFP thing or whatever, FFP and PSR even, my word, get my teeth mixed up. But we could have been doing that and then went and bought a few more players, got them on 7-year contracts, done that to add quality to this squad. And we haven't done it. So it's either a combination of not having football clued people at the top who don't know what they're doing and don't know how to take the piss like that. Go buy them, go get them, bring them in. If Ashworth was meant to be that guy, what was he doing? He didn't do it. Or it's the manager has too much say. And is that the real reason that the Ashworth thing didn't work? Because the manager has too much say? I don't know. But for me, I don't want to be stacking the squad out with Bournemouth-style players. No disrespect to Bournemouth. I don't want those types of players in this squad. I don't want purple patch players like Miggy Almiron and people like that. I want quality players. I want players that have proven they can do it at a higher level. Or I want players who are very young and exciting and are catching your eye. I mean, there was an article that linked us to Arda Güler from Real Madrid, which is pure fucking nonsense because he'd never come here on loan. But that's the type of player you want to bring in. Listen, even if we had the kid on loan till the end of the season, he's such a good player. He could win those games on his own. But the club aren't doing any of that. The jury's still out on Mitchell. I know it's early days, but I'm not confident that these guys are going to do anything in January. We need to do something in January if we want to try and finish in the top 6. At the minute, top 6 looks way off. Yeah, you're right, Vincent. At least Man U and Spurs lost today, which is always a good thing. Well done, West Ham. Jared Bowen, let's fucking buy him. Put the money out. But we seem to be lacking a cutting edge. Remember how we assumed we'd kick off this season, all the injuries last, even with a better transfer window? Yeah, and it just didn't work. It just has not worked. It's not really kicked on at all this season, and it's poor. It is poor. Botman hit a ton of Cher's flaws. Cher is not a good defender, says William. I think Cher is very nonchalant. He's too cocky. He's too full of himself at the back sometimes, and that really worries me. And against teams like this, you're going to get caught out and caught and found out. Don't fuck around with it. You're a good defender when you want to be, Cher. Touch it, pass it, go. Touch it, block over the top or whatever. Pick your passes carefully. And he's not doing that. He wants another 2 or 3 touches. He thinks he can drop a shoulder and do a play. You can't do that against Pedro Neto and Nkunku and Madueke game players like that because they'll get you. You can't do that. You're putting the other back 4 under pressure. You're putting the keeper under pressure. Pope's kicking today as well. Woeful, by the way. And he doesn't catch corners. I think that's because he's got a bad thumb. Again, what's going on with the keeper? Didn't sort of keeper either. The keepers are woeful, by the way. Look at the bench. Rotten. Absolutely shocking. Casta, I'm a celebrity. Who's he? Shocking. Dreadful. Ian says we haven't been good enough for 3 years. It's hard to disagree. It really, really is. But we are coming to a fork in the road with this whole thing. We really, really are here. I just think it's not great. And yet, Liam, we are sinking lower and lower down the league table. How low do we go, guys? Let me know in the comments. How low do we go, as Philip says there, until something happens with this manager? Time is running out, Freddie, I'm afraid. So the next 3 games we've got, obviously, we've had Chelsea there. We've got Chelsea in the cup. A few years shouting, Eddie needs to go. Alisson's had enough already. Who would we go for if we bend them? Who would we go for? Because for me, I agree with you, Andy. Someone like Mourinho, I know people don't want to hear it, but Mourinho is perfect for this part of the project right now. Mourinho will only stay here 3 years because that's what Mourinho does. He would make you hard to beat. He would make you win a cup, and he'd probably establish as a top 4 team, and then he would fuck off, and then you could get a manager that could play more open, expansive football. And weirdly enough, I think that's what Newcastle need right now. I like Eddie Howe, don't get me wrong, and he's given me some great moments in the last few years that he's been here. But as Kiwi Toon says there, PIF need to go hard and heavy. Do they trust this manager to go hard and heavy? Who's he going to buy? A bunch of Bournemouth players? I'm not entirely sure. And then, Phil says, why did he take Tonali off all the time? Things like that are just going to irritate people even more when the results aren't coming. I mean, there'll still be loads of Kool-Aid drinkers and, trust the process, happy clappers that think Eddie can do no wrong. Eddie could run that fucking dog over and they go, it's all right, Eddie, don't worry. We love you. We trust you. I'll just bury him in the back garden. Because that's the way that they think. They're completely brainwashed by the process. And that's all on them. I'm a football fan. I'm a Newcastle fan. I like to see effective footballer wins games. If it's good football as well, that's a bonus. But you need to win games. You need to get results. You need to climb the table. We've got players in that squad now who aren't just expecting Europe, they're demanding European football. And now they're not turning up anymore. It's that horrible age-old kind of thing that happens when players stop playing for a manager. Isak looked fucking pissed off today. Even when he scored, he looked pissed off. And I just wonder if something's up there. And all this talk about him not, talking about contract and all sort of stuff, a little bit concerning for me. A little bit concerning. As you say, Ben, they looked half asleep at times, second best all over the park. I think the only reason that we got back into the game was Chelsea's inability to kill us. I just think Chelsea went, I've got much these, we'll just kind of fuck around with it, you know what I mean? Save ourselves for the next game. Chelsea didn't turn up the volume. They had moments where they could just break us down, but they just didn't turn it up. They really, really didn't. Colton says, are happy Clapham fans still Eddie Howe in? I think they are, but I think even they're starting to turn, mate. I really do. Big Al says we need a clear out. Murphy, Miggy Byrne, Longstaff, but who will buy this shit? Somebody would buy them, but you wouldn't probably get what you want in the market for them. You have to accept that. If that form dips, Al, you're not gonna get the value for them. But they should have, for me, there's no way this football club should have been in a position selling Elliot Anderson, Yankuba Minter before they sold Jacob Murphy and Miguel Almiron. No fucking chance whatsoever. That is rancid by the club. Scout Network, Eddie Howe, whoever's involved, that shit is unforgivable. You're selling players who have got way higher ceilings than the guys that you've got, and that is atrocious. Somebody would have bought them. You might have had to take a bit of a hit on them, and then invested. You already had the players there, so it's not like you had to go buy anybody. You had Anderson and you had Minter to come in for the likes of Murphy and for Almiron. So you didn't have to go and buy another player. You had those players already, but somebody in the club has decided that they were dispensable and them two weren't. And I think that is the manager, sadly, and they has to explain himself for that. Ringo said Nick Pope was really worrying, kind of kicked the ball and let some soft goals in. And we had an opportunity then. Mamardashvili, again, Ringo. Mamardashvili, we could have signed Mamardashvili on a pre-contract for next season, and we didn't. We were after James Trafford, for fuck's sake. Who picked him out? Got relegated with Burnley, and I don't think he'll be the keeper that everyone thinks he's going to be. He'll be another fucking Scott Carson or Richard Wright or Stuart Taylor, whoever the fucking flavour of the month English goalkeeper is, Chris Kirkland, you list them up. That'll be James Trafford in the next 3 or 4 seasons. Mamardashvili was there for the taking, and we could have went from him. He would have had more chance of being our number one than he would be Liverpool's if Liverpool keep Alisson. But my gut feeling is to sell him to the Saudi League. Again, the guys who own us, getting all these great players for the Saudi League, don't give us any fucking players. No loan deals either. To have dropped a massive bollock with a goalkeeper, in my opinion. And I wouldn't be surprised if we signed James Trafford in the summer, and he'll be deemed as the Pope understudy or heir to Pope's throne if Eddie Howe's still here. But I'm starting to think Eddie Howe won't be here because no Europe this season. I think he's gone, and it's not looking like Europe for me. I'm sorry, guys, not the way we're playing. Aaron saying, I don't know about building a new stadium. We need to build a new team. 100% agree. Park those fucking plans straight away and throw the money into the squad. And then worry about getting a new stadium in 3 years' time, when you're winning things and you're a Champions League regular. Worry about it then. Don't worry about the commercial revenue now. This is the biggest problem with the club. They care more about the commercials upstairs than they do about the things on the pitch. I know people are saying the two of them are intertwined, and they are to an extent. But if your manager and your players aren't doing the business on the pitch, doesn't matter what deals you get upstairs, you ain't going to fill that stadium. It's as simple as that. And I just think for me, they really need to readdress this balance. January is massive for us. And as Half Secretary says, Howe's mid-level. He's not cutthroat enough to be a top-level manager. What's frightening about Eddie Howe is the Bournemouth fans almost predicted this like Nostradamus. They said, this is what he did here. And they love him. Christ, he's their Keegan, right? And they said this is exactly what he did at Bournemouth. He over loyalty to players, started to go backwards, all this kind of stuff. And they predicted everything that we're talking about right now. And he's had, 3 years now at the club, whatever it is, 2.5, 3 years at the club. And any manager has to be reevaluated in 3 years. Is he giving you what you need? And you could look at it and say, kept you up, top 4, top 7. So you could say on paper, that's a good thing that he's done. But this season, the warning signs are there. The lack of investment in the summer. Now, if that's on the club, they've got to hold their hands up and say, we didn't back him, so we can't sack him. And that's on them. But they don't talk anymore. that transparency is evaporated away. They just don't talk to us anymore. It's all cloak and daggers. It's all wrapped up in commercial bullshit. The only people to talk to is these fucking guys they brought in for a fan podcast that are fucking on the club's dime. They're the only people that seem to talk to the club these days, not the real fan content media. They wouldn't go anywhere near them. They'd shit themselves because we'd ask them 2 difficult questions they don't want to answer. Chippers has had enough. He says, time ready to go. It's hard to disagree, Chippers. Daz is saying, how many times have we bounced the ball? No strength. There's a real lack of strength, Basler, in the squad. Everybody's soft as piss. It really, really is. It's a scary, scary thing. What we have here? Mark was saying, tune review chat, for fuck's sake, got a different point of view, and they fucking time you out. I don't know if that was Alex. I think Alex gets a bit upset with some of the chat. Marco, we don't do that here. And, I always say if you're a prick, you'll get the flick, but you've not been a prick there. The two of you guys are good friends of our channel. We love them. Paul and Billy are good lads. Alex and sometimes get a little bit upset with people. I don't see the chats that he flicks people out from. That's up to him, whatever his skin thickness is, mate. But you won't get flicked here as long as you don't say anything too aggressive, mate. So, fair play. Tony says, zero desire, atrocity defending, silly errors. Costas, I think that says, Nick Pope, terrible. The pressure's on Eddie Howe now. His game manager, once again, is atrocious. It really is. I think the club have slept on the manager here because the England thing's an interesting one. If he wanted the England job and he was interested in it, and the FA didn't talk to him because of his kind of buyout clause, then that technically is the club backing him. They don't want him to go, right? But if the club had any doubts about his ability as a manager, any doubts whatsoever, you had the chance of Thomas Tuchel or Jose Mourinho, who have got trophies full of cabinets in the summer, and they didn't go for either one of them, So that the club has to stand by the decision now. They've got to back Eddie Howe, but the problem is if Eddie Howe doesn't take this team forward, towards the January window, we're 12th now. If we're still there before the Christmas fixtures, did they pull the trigger? If they pull the trigger, who would they bring in? That's the question I've got to ask. And I don't know who's good out there at the minute. Who's quality enough to get something out of this team? Yes, you get a new manager bounce, but you want longevity and sustainability with it. Aaron saying, facts, we gave Bruce all a stick in the world for playing the same formation all the time and no plan B. If we go out the cup, he thinks it's curtains. Wow, that'll be interesting. I'm not sure they'll pull the trigger that quick, but I do think there is something brewing behind the scenes. I must admit. Ooh, that's a good shout, Ian. Get Mancini in now. Now, I like Roberto Mancini. I think he's a good manager. He's got pedigree. Worked at huge clubs. Obviously, won City trophies at Milan, but he's just been sacked by the Saudi Arabians. Now, if you were really cynical, you could say have the Bindom to make him available to take the job. That would be the ultimate fucking accountancy trick, wouldn't it? Who knows? You never know. But I think the fact that Saudis have just pied him, I don't know whether he'd get the Newcastle job. I don't know. But very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Rigamola says creation from the left and Howe takes off. Well, I thought Hall was excellent today. Once again, he hooks Hall instead of Byrne. Fucking hook Byrne. Hook Byrne, he was stinking, man. He got off with a penalty one there. The referee actually seen a little bit of sense, but awful, man. Just some players seem to be undroppable in his mind, and I don't understand why. Graham's saying we're quick to criticise individuals, but we do not have the quality. We've been hampered by the peer. Yes, but Eddie Howe may need to move on. But is that now? That's the question, mate. That is the question. We might even do a video on that when I get back off my jollies, depending on how the cup game goes. Poor Mark at the post-match. He's calmer than I am, but he might be pulling his fucking hair. He's got more hair to pull. Zara saying, if there's any consolation, we saw that before, Zara, yes. It is a consolation, actually. I do enjoy watching them get beat, because especially Man U. But she does say we need a proper transfer window. That's our issue in a minute. We do. And they need to go big. Fuck it. Just go big, and you need to buy a good right winger, get him into Mbembo, go get him from Brentford. He transforms that entire front three. If you get a man who can play through the middle when Callum Wilson's knackered, when he's injured as well. Get a proper right-sided centre-half with speed. If it's Mark Gahey, whatever, somebody with a bit of pace, get Botman back fit, and then get a proper number 6. We'll play games like that. You can sniff out players like Cole Palmer. Job done. That fixes that whole squad. It really, really does. 3 players. Get it sorted. Eddie and Amanda, etc., are great for giving us belief again as a club, showing what's possible, but the coaching level has been hit, I believe. Yeah. Maybe they have just been found out. Maybe the level has been found out, because for me, I just, I don't buy it. Nev still believes. Fair play to Nev, saying, Chris, not many teams will push Chelsea home. Have faith, and we will get. I've had faith, Nev. I've had faith for years. And I still haven't fully turned on the manager, like a few of the guys have in the chat. Because the main reason is because I'm just not sure who is available to come in who's better at the minute. Off the top of my head, I don't. I think Allegri's still kicking around or whatever. Zidane, but Zidane wants a completed project. Fucking spoiled diva. But yeah, I just don't know who is out there at the minute, mate. But as John says there, how to take responsibility for this crap at the moment. Why put Ruddy on the bench when he could have brought Salisu into the squad? That's just the thing. There's no game changers on the bench, no game changers whatsoever. Derek is saying that Howe has lost the plot. He needs to go. Absolutely. That's hard to disagree with that, Derek. 190 watching. Please remember, drop a like, says Mark in the chat. Yeah, very, very nice of you reminders, Mark, because I'm flying through the comments here. Ruddy's 60th birthday, says Trevor. Very nice, very nice. I think he's actually 63, to be fair. Michael is saying, does Howe want to let these players go? That all we know should be moved on, Wilson, etc. It doesn't seem so. I think that's a big problem, Michael. Can't but feel his time is running out. The last 2 windows haven't helped them. And maybe there's a slight lack of confidence behind the scenes in Howe, and that's why they haven't given the money in the transfer window. I don't know. Uncle Buzz Cox is in the house. Good to see you, pal. The clock's ticking on Howe now. Could be no league wins in 6 next week and 1 win in 8. I can see him going after the Arsenal game. Be interesting because there's no smoke without fire. There will be some links to other managers, I think. It was very interesting if you saw Jose coming out saying how he would manage a team in the lower half of the Premier League. I don't know whether he was just thinking we were going to be there by the time he fancied going. Uncle Buzzcock does say that Xavi and Terzic are currently out of work. I'm not sure Xavi's that good of a manager, Buzzcocks, to be fair. Terzic is a decent manager. I think West Ham are sniffing around him because they're not too keen on their manager, but that win might have just bought him a little bit of time as well. Ringo also reminds me that the whole Newcastle team have got 9 goals and Chris Wood has 7. Oh, yes, how I regret slagging Chris Woods off. Absolutely do. Very, very decent player. We've got Nicholas is saying, is there someone Newcastle need is Goikers? Yeah, his build to play is brilliant. Yeah, and I think you would get the best out of Isaac as well, mate, to be fair. But I'm not sure we're even in his bracket anymore. Those aren't pillars saying 17th has to be the aim. We're back there again, mate. We're back in the Ashley era. We've got more comments, guys, and then we will call it a day. So Chip is saying he thinks the Forest game will be make or break if Howe stays or goes. Absolutely. And Aaron says 4-3-3 again. He seems to be incapable of changing it. Yeah, Ricky says Leicester sack Ranier if they win the league. I said that earlier. Yeah, absolutely. Madrid fans want Ancelotti out. Fuck me. I said it's a joke. I would take Ancelotti in a minute. I really, really would. Ancelotti's an amazing manager. But there will be good managers out there, 100%. Adrian says Jose would be great. I'd take Jose in a heartbeat. People are saying no, but for me, 100% would take Jose, no doubt about it. Hyperbole saying the lack of spend through the last few windows while everyone else strengthened. Yes, it's not surprising. It really, really isn't. Jack is saying Marino would love to come here after Bobby, and I'd take him in a heartbeat. Absolutely, mate, 100%. Oof. John says he'll get us. I don't know if he'll get us relegated, John, but people are starting to turn on this manager 100%. When you're saying things like that, it's very, very scary. Darryl said he's done with Eddie Howe football, painful to watch. There's just no plan B, mate. That's the worry. That's the real worry. Right, let's get a couple of more guys, and then we will do a shoot. Oh, we got here. We got Rich saying haul off and Burn to left back. What a fucking clown. I mean, to be fair, when Botman's fit, I think if he drops Hall and puts Burn back at left back full time, he probably is done, in all fairness, because we'll all be absolutely sick to the back teeth. Subs for subs sake at 67th minute. Eddie O'Clock, as they do say on the Tube review, mate, absolutely, which is not good. Right, I'm going to scroll right down here to the most recent comment, and I think we're going to call it a day, guys. I think what we've got here. Let's have a look here. Scrolling right down. Trying to keep up with you all in the chat here. Went all country western there, didn't I? Here we go. Right. Mark is saying, carry on like this and we'll struggle to track any players come January, which is a real concern, 100%. So that's me pretty much done for today, guys. Again, I'm a bit ranty. I'm a bit pissed off because I'm just sick of watching the same old crap time and time again with no plan B, uninspired substitutions, no penetration in the final third, bad decision making. The manager, I put a lineup up on X where I had Sandro Tonali and Louis Miley sitting as a double pivot with Bruno a bit further up. You could swap that round and have Bruno and Tonali with even Joe Willock there. He needs to start thinking about other things, and he's not thinking about it. And the next 2 games are going to be rough, but you won't have me for the next post-match and for what's going on as well. I don't think we're doing that show. Mark might jump on and do a bit of a live preview, so keep it evermore, guys, for that. But I'm off on my jollies for a week. I need it, to be fair, physically and mentally, not just because Newcastle are draining the life army, but life is as well. So I need a bit of a break. I've got away with the family. I'm really looking forward to it. But if you do like the kind of thing that we do, I will be back. Don't worry, I will be back for the Arsenal game. Smash subscribe, like the channel, guys. Help the channel grow. Like this video, help it grow. Help get us to that 9K subscribe mark. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much, Vincent. Thank you, Ian. Really appreciate that, guys. I will certainly try to have my best relaxing time on my jollies as well. But Mark will be back. He'll be steering the ship while I'm away. And let's hope that Newcastle can try and get through in the cup. I've got my doubts. My kind of prediction on that is that we won't do. Take Eddie with me. To be fair, mate, I'm going to Disneyland. He wouldn't look out of fucking place down there the way he's playing, mate. Absolute clown. But yeah, that's me done, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the interactions. We love it. It always helps the episode flow. And again, as I mentioned, if you do like this kind of a thing, keep it ever more, guys. We'll be back soon with some more crack. We'll see you later. Have a great day. Cheers.
Hey!